He's very eager to be there and just be a part of everything. The montage that happens kind of at the beginning where we're building the well, that was a lot of work. Skywalker and Alice are little Broadway stars all day, every day. He fell off a lot of horses, like more than once. After all that, he didn't find a girl.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Heart in Motion podcast. I'm so excited to welcome Maclean Fish to the podcast. How are you doing, Maclean?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm so excited to talk to you about Netflix's hit series, Little House on the Prairie. I don't know if you know this or not. Deadline just put out an article this afternoon saying that it is still number one over
Yeah.
in week number two. So there's been several projects that have came out, and Little House on the Prairie is holding strong. So how does it make you feel to be a part of a project that's doing so well on Netflix?
It's surreal, honestly. I don't know. It's amazing. I don't think. I mean, I hate to say I didn't expect it. Like I obviously was hopeful of everything and success, but it's amazing. I can't believe it. It's doing so well and people are receiving it so well. Um, it feels incredible. Yeah.
It's really fun to watch your character, Adam Scott, because my understanding is now I'm going to fess up for anybody listening or watching right now. So growing up, I would check out the Little House on the Prairie books in order so that my teacher would think that I was reading them, but I didn't read them. But I love but I loved the series growing up. And my understanding is that Adam Scott was not a part of the book series. Is that correct?
He is a part of the book that our first season is based on,
Okay.
but
Okay.
he's very different. He's older in the book. There's much more to his life that isn't necessarily explored in the show. Um, he has a wife. There's just so much more, not more necessarily, but just it's different than how he is in our series. But he is brought up in the books. He does fall down a well in the book. Yeah.
Okay, so there is some truth to it then. It's
Totally.
interesting that they decided to, bring Adam Scott down in age. Maybe it was they're like, we need McLean on the project, and so this is what we're gonna do, right?
I'd like to think so. That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be
Let's
awesome.
jump right in. Like how did that audition go for you to land the part of Adam?
It was pretty standard. I kind of got the original breakdown with the character and the story, a little kind of blurb about it. I wasn't super familiar with Little House prior to that audition, and even after the audition. Um, it was kind of standard. I mean, I did one kind of self-tape off the rip, and then I got called back in to meet with Rebecca and Joy and the whole team and meet them over Zoom, and that was really, really cool. And I got to read some of the scenes and chat with them a little bit about the character. And then that was kind of it. It was shorter than most, which
Interesting.
I like to think is a good thing. But
Yeah.
it's yeah, it was short, only kind of two auditions and then right to it.
So you get the good news. Who's the first person you're calling to tell that you've landed this part?
Like my mom. It's always my mom.
Yeah.
It's always my mom. And my dad. But I think I actually remember getting the call. My younger sister was at a dance recital, and we were there watching, and we were standing in line, waiting to enter the gymnasium that it was at. And I got a call from one of my agents saying, "Hey, this project is interested," and then I kind of was able to tell them right away because they were there. So that was really cool. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So then was it mom when you said, okay, I got this part now, tell me everything there is to know about Little House on the Prairie?
She would have known. She was a big fan. I don't know if she knew kind of the extent to the series, like how big of a series it would become. I know that she was familiar with the books. I know my younger sister was familiar with the books. Um, but I think my whole family, without the exception of my brother, was familiar with the book. So I think they thought it was pretty cool and a big deal when I found out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am from Missouri, and we just about 45 minutes from here is where Laura Ingalls actually finished out
Right.
her in Mansfield. It's just
Right.
down the road from me. So
Amazing.
even though I didn't check out the books, we basically had a whole course on the Ingalls if you were in Missouri. It was part of Missouri history. So
I bet. I bet. Yeah.
yeah. So Netflix describes Adam Scott as boyish and handsome, but soft. I love his first line where he says, I don't know much about much, but I can learn. I mean, that right there really tells us who Adam Scott is and why he's in Independence. That tells us a lot. How would you describe Adam?
Um, Boyish, yeah. I think I said the other day that he's very eager to be there, and just be a part of everything. And boyish and handsome, yeah, I'll take that. That's all right.
Yeah.
I'll take that. But aside from physically, I think yeah, he's just really trying to prove himself
Yeah.
to everybody, and I think I think maybe at the beginning he feels a little bit like an outsider,
Yeah.
and he wants to erase that feeling as quick as possible. So he gets involved in as many things as he can, and help as many people as possible, and I think that speaks a lot to who he is. And he's always trying to find ways to better other people outside of himself. I think.
You start reading the scripts, and I'm sure you learned more about Adam. What was it about him that initially you were really excited to play about him?
It actually kind of came a little bit later because our scripts aren't all released at the same time. And it was in episode 5 when they talk about his wife leaving him at the altar. I thought that was a huge change for me because I think up until that point, I was kind of making it up as I went in terms of the backstory of what exactly was in Boston.
Yeah.
And so finding that out, it was like, oh, okay, this is a huge thing in a young man's life. How does that affect him? How does he approach women and new relationships in the town after coming from that? Um, so that was huge for me. Yeah.
So you had been playing him more single, going out to the,
Yeah, I think so. I think because even in episode 3, he's got so much charm and confidence when talking to Charles about finding new relationships and new people and new opportunities. And so kind of going from that and then finding out, oh, actually, maybe that's a cover up. Maybe that's a little bit of, those types of things. So, yeah, I definitely, that changed everything, really. Yeah.
yeah. Often when I talk to actors, they say, and not always, because I mean, sometimes actors will play a character vastly different than them. But was there something about Adam that you related to quite a bit?
100%. Yeah. And definitely like it's rare sometimes sometimes the roles you think that are perfect for you never get, and then you always get the ones that you're like, what, that doesn't make any sense. But the thing with Adam was that is amazing was that this was my kind of first time on a huge set like this. I've been working for a long time and on sets, but not of this scale. And so I kind of was able to take my own personal experience of experiencing this all for the first time and kind of relate it to Adam, experiencing independence for the first time. And how does that make me feel, which is kind of in a way how it's going to make him feel, arriving at a
Yeah.
new place and something that's just so different to what he's used to.
I
Uh,
love that.
yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned episode 5. That's a big episode for Adam. We've got the well scene. We've got the girls talking about the town's newest eligible bachelor. Even the church is being raised at that time. A lot going on. Can you walk us through that well scene a little bit from your perspective? It was a pretty powerful scene, and I think we kind of, we had little hints about, oh, this might happen. There was some good foreshadowing going on. But walk us through that scene a little bit.
Yeah, it was a trip to shoot. It took place over about 3 days, both on location and in studio. So we had a 2-story replica of the well built inside a studio that we could get in from the bottom and kind of shoot cooler angles and more unique stuff. And then we had an on location version of it that was kind of just, the size of me basically.
Yeah.
That anything that you saw exterior wise that was shot there. Um, it was a lot like so the montage that happens kind of at the beginning where we're building the well. That was a lot of work, like both physically and mentally, because the amount of costume changes that we had to make it look like it was happening over multiple days when really it
Yeah.
was just an afternoon. And it was scorching hot. and we were doing the physical labor on top of that, really lifting the buckets and shoveling the dirt and everything like that. So that was a long and hard day. And then it was kind of the opposite when we went into the studio, where you're not doing any of the physical labor, and now you're just kind of sitting there, or I'm laying at the bottom, or I'm, letting a stunt double do something. Or so it was really cool to see it all come together when I finally watched the scene. Because it took place over so many days and there were so many moving parts that I had no idea what was going to go where and when that was going to happen. We had walls of story. It was one of the only times I saw them bring out storyboards. I'm sure they had them for all scenes and all episodes, but I never actually physically saw them. And as soon as I saw them looking at the storyboard in person, I was like, "Oh, geez, this is all right. This is clearly complex." Um, so yeah, it was really really cool to see it all come together.
It's crazy to talk to, directors and writers, how they storyboard it out and that they just have this vision of all of those little bitty details that need to happen in order for it to all come together. And then for us on our side of it, it's not that long, but yet
No, no,
getting to talk to you guys, we learned there was a lot that went in to that moment. So,
definitely.
how much of it did you get to do?
Not as much as I'd like. I always want to do my own stunts. Always, it's like a dream of mine to do a movie where I get to do all my own stunts. And I always ask on everything I do, and I'm always told no. But it was, I mean, I guess like all the cool stuff where I get dragged out on the rope and stuff, that wasn't me. But everything else, for the most part, was me. If like, lying down at the bottom of the well, that was all me, and being, the scene from above or the shot from above where I'm coming up coughing, obviously that's all me. And yeah, I guess more than maybe you'd think at a glance, but not as much as I'd like to have done.
Yeah.
But
Some
yeah.
great makeup too when you came
Oh
up. That was
yeah.
some great makeup.
Yeah, no, props to the makeup team. That was really cool to be in kind of blue and purple all day. That was fun.
Yeah. Adam learns his lesson pretty quick. We've got the church raising after that. He's back in it, getting the morale, getting everybody going. Was that church scene and building that up, was that as intricate as the well scene?
Um, I think more intricate for the props department, definitely, and set design and everything. Less so for the actors, because they had a huge crane above the framing that was lifting it up while we were pulling on it. And so that was very intricate. But the actual work for us was kind of just making it look like we were building stuff. We didn't actually have to do much at all compared to the well where we were really shoveling. Um, so yeah, no, props to all the departments that handled that. It made it look like we were doing a lot of work when we really weren't. So yeah.
Did a great job faking it then, right?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Episode 8, we have some pretty intense fire moments.
Yeah.
How much, when you're out on location, was this real fire? Are we CGIing it?
Hmm. Um,
A
like
little both.
bit of both, a bit of both. Yeah. So that was the coolest for me out of like the entire shoot. Um, the pyro guys had, I don't know, 100 feet worth of real kind of, I don't even know how you describe it. I guess just kind of framing that had flames shooting up from it. And so they'd call action and the flames would come up and they had these massive industrial fans kind of blowing the smoke and yeah, just the smoke right at our faces. Cameras everywhere, which made it really real. It was really cool to be there and kind of see. They also had a light, this huge crane up in the sky that was mimicking flames, and it was kind of like a strobe light, orange strobe light that was flashing on us. Um, and so when all that's kind of happening at once, and you got cameras flying around you every which way, it feels pretty real. And the intensity definitely was there. So that was cool, and I love shooting at night. It's one of my favorite things to do. Not really sure why. I think I'm unique in that sense, but I love shooting at night. And we were there. That was another kind of 2, 3 day sequence. So that again, you're up with all your friends shooting in the dark for a couple nights in a row, which is always so fun. So that was great.
It does give it a different vibe when you're
Yeah,
shooting at night. I mean, what we see on this side of it, it really is a cool vibe.
it's amazing. I love it. And people don't
Yeah.
like being up, sleep in the day, awake at night, but I love it. I don't know why. I love it.
So another bit of a confession is I've got a little bit of piano background myself. And
Okay.
so I don't know if you do this or not, but when I'm watching movies, one of the first things I do if I see somebody playing the piano is I'm like, how much are they faking it? 'cause
Mm.
you can
Oh,
tell.
oh no.
And so I'm guessing you've got a piano background because you did a fantastic job of
There is a piano in
faking.
the background.
There you go. So
Um,
did we get to hear you? How did that all play out?
you definitely didn't hear me
Okay.
because I can't play like that.
Yeah.
Um, I did grow up playing. I studied under the Royal Conservatory classical for a long time. I think I stopped around 14. But I did grow up playing the piano and taking lessons. Both my siblings also play, and my dad's a really talented pianist. Um, but I'm not that good compared to what you hear Adam playing in especially episode 8. So the way they did it is I got all the sheet music, and the funny story is that I originally thought I was gonna have to learn the songs for real. So I got this sheet music, and I was all confident to the producers. They're like, "Oh, you play the piano?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, just send me the sheet music. Do you need lessons?" I was like, "Oh no, just send it over my way." So they send it to me, and I get like 8 songs, and they're incredibly complex. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't think I can actually do this. So I start practicing them, and then eventually I reached out and went, I don't think I can do it. This is kind of hard. Like, I don't think I can do these types of songs. And they're like, oh, you're not actually playing. So then I was like, oh, okay. So they did it with putting an earwig or sometimes a monitor, like a speaker right beside me, depending on if it was like the scenes during the dance, that was an earwig because it was more intimate. Whereas when we were outside, it was a monitor. And they'd just play the song for me. And because I had practiced them for a while, I knew, where my fingers were supposed to be. I knew the general groove of the song. And so I was able to make it look pretty dang close to what it is. Uh,
Yeah.
of course, I really looked for it, just kind of like you were saying, and I noticed a part where I was like, ah, that could have been better. But
No.
overall, I think it turned out pretty solid.
Yeah.
And yeah, because there was one moment where I guess I kind of had said like, try not to do close-ups on my fingers for the most part. Just stay as wide as you can. And of course, the DP comes in and he goes, well, we're gonna go right here, and he just points a camera right at my fingers, and I kind of got a little nervous, but I don't think that shot made it in, so it's all good.
You nailed it. It was great. I was watching. Sometimes and it's just kind of like that anticipation. I'm like, oh,
I
but
know, yeah.
yeah, you did great.
Thank you so much.
You did great. So I've talked with people before who've been on these period pieces, When Hope Calls, When Calls the Heart, these Regency pieces where they're in a castle. Is it easier for you because so much of this is on location to kind of step into that period when you're right there on location like that?
100%. Yeah, it makes all the difference actually. I'm really bad at playing pretend, which is weird as an actor. I'm not great at auditioning. I'm just not. Like I need it to kind of be there. Um, So yeah, being on location for this long and with this many and this extravagant, um, it made all the difference to me personally. It being like with the horses there, and it's even sense, not even just visually. It's you smell the horses and the prairie grass and everything like that. So yeah, it doesn't feel like you're acting sometimes. It just kind of feels like you're really there, which is amazing. As an actor, it makes all the difference. Yeah.
So it helps you get into it. I'm curious, what are the biggest challenges with being on that set doing Little House on the Prairie?
Ooh, the heat. I would say the heat. It
You
was
guys shoot in the summer?
Yeah, we shot in the summer, and not only that, but the wardrobe is all like period accurate. So it's very heavy a lot of the time, and there's a lot of layers. Especially the women. I felt for the women on this one because they're wearing about 12 layers with a corset and everything. Um, so we didn't have it as rough as they did, but yeah, it's heavy. Everything's heavy. Everything's really thick. But it looks amazing, but it's just really hot. And
Yeah.
they have all these huge bounces and big black tarps up all the time for lighting purposes, and so that would just make it even hotter. Um, yeah, we had like yeah, it was hot, very hot.
Did you have a favorite costume?
Um, like I
The coolest costume? Whichever one was the coolest, right?
Um, I think like um I always say the episode 8 costume just because I was in it for so long. Um and it's kind of like the last one in my memory.
Yeah.
It was the most uncomfortable, which is weird. by far out of all the costumes. But I think it's my favorite because it is the most Adam. One of the things that we kind of explored at the beginning was because this season takes place over quite a long period of time. Um, how where does his financial status go throughout the year? Does he get more money? Does he get cut off from his family? Kind of what happens there? And so you can even notice Mitchell Travers is responsible for all this. He's amazing. Um, that kind of he gets wealthier almost aesthetically as it goes on, and by episode 8, he's kind of in a full suit. And so that was really cool that I kind of started off in more working clothes, trying to get my hands dirty. Maybe I was trying to fit in a little bit more.
Mhm.
And then towards episode 8, he kind of that you can see that class background come out a little bit, which was really fun to play with. So I guess I'll
Yeah.
say episode 8. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so you go, you have in your mind, I'm going to Little House on the Prairie. This is what I'm going to do. You get finished.
Mm.
What was something that really surprised you that maybe you thought differently before going into it?
Ooh, that's a great question. Maybe just how close everyone got as a cast. I think, and even maybe like halfway through, I would have thought differently. I think it's such a long shoot. It was like 4 or 5 months, and everyone, for the most part, me being a little bit of an exception because I grew up in Winnipeg, and
Yeah.
that's where we shot just outside of Winnipeg. But everyone's from out of town, and so so you never know going into a project. Are we going to gel as a cast? Are we going to get along? Is there going to be outliers? It happens. And so when you're with a group of people for that amount of time, you're always kind of thinking whether or not you're going to be alone the whole time or whether you guys are going to really gel. And we just got really close, the whole cast, towards the second half especially. And it was really sad to leave when it was over. And I'm sad when I end any project, but this one particularly was really sad to end. Because not only the cast, I think the production team and all departments, we all got so close because it's a long shoot. Like other projects I've done haven't been that long. Like 5 months is you're living with these people for half a year. So and that can make or break your production, I think, depending
Yeah.
on how close you guys get. And I think you can see in the later episodes that it shows on screen. Um, so yeah, I don't want to say that was surprising, but at the same time, maybe it was surprising to me, who's never been on a project that's of that length.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll say it was a surprise to me. Yeah.
I hear that often from series work. I mean, especially when everybody gels well,
Yeah.
that there's just a different vibe. I mean, I hear often, you go do a movie of the week and it's 15 days and it's like you're
Right.
just getting to know people and now you're saying goodbye. But
Exactly.
you're there so long during a series that if everybody gets along really well, that there's definitely that family feel
Yeah,
at
that's a
the end of
perfect
it.
word. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you able to pinpoint like a favorite filming day?
Oh. I'm gonna just say to make it easy, I'm just gonna say my first day. Um, it was, and I think the reason it's my favorite is because I was so nervous, unbelievably nervous. I was also stepping into the second episode, so they'd
Okay.
already shot the
Yeah.
first episode. So I was coming in a few weeks later than everybody else. So there was that thought in the back of my head, like, oh, everyone knows each other, and I'm stepping in here. I have no idea what to expect. Um, but it was the perfect day to have a first day because everyone was on set, the entire cast, and we were shooting the post office opening. Um, Again, super hot, which sucked, but let's just pretend every day is hot. So every
Yeah.
day, so it doesn't matter. But it was just so amazing because I was felt so welcomed. And I was worried that I wouldn't just because I don't think I had any dialogue in that scene either. So it was almost like you're going in and going, gee, is anyone going to even know I'm there? Like, like, you know what I mean? Like, I have no idea what to
Yeah.
expect. And it was just meeting everyone, and everyone was so nice and so welcoming, both in front and behind the camera. So yeah, we'll say my first day was my favorite.
There's a lot of music in this series versus the previous ones,
Yeah,
which even talking with past cast members or hearing from past cast members, they said that was one part that they wish would have maybe been in the earlier series that I love that
interesting.
Netflix has put into this one. So with so many people on set with that musical background, did you guys ever find any downtime to like do any music things?
I would never. I love music and I even love singing. I just for whatever reason, it's weird saying this because I'm an actor. I just don't like singing or playing instruments in front of people. It's a weird thing for me. However, Skywalker and Alice are little Broadway stars all day, every day. And they never stop singing to the point where crew have to like say, stop singing, please. Um, and they're lovely and they just run around singing songs they've either written themselves or heard on wherever that day. Um, and so yeah, there's tons of music, but it's mainly coming from those two all the time. And Cohen Catarath, who plays Caleb, he's a really talented guitar player.
Nice.
And so he had his guitar on set frequently and would strum along to some stuff. Um, so yeah, there was music all the time from the younger kids for sure, all the time. Yeah.
This is such an incredibly talented cast. I always like to ask, you have this experience, you're there for, 5 months.
Yeah.
What did you learn from being on set?
Oh, I actually spoke about this the other day, and it's like so important to me as kind of an actor. Working with lots of cameras. A lot of the productions I've been on, kind of up to this point, have been kind of a two camera setup for the most part, which is kind of easy to manage as an actor because there's only two, and you kind of know where they're going to be if they're moving, or lots, even sometimes more, sometimes three, however many we had on a given day. It's a challenge, especially when they're so intricate, the movements sometimes. Like you'll have a camera that starts right here, but then at the end it ends up on the roof over there. Like you know what I mean? And so it's
Yeah.
that was the most challenging part, but also like the most meaningful learning experience on the whole thing because I think um, that's something you can kind of only learn on a job. You can't really learn that from YouTube or in a classroom. It's something you just have to experience. Um, so that was the most meaningful learning experience, learning the technical craft of acting as opposed to, stage and what I learned in school and things like that. That was great. Yeah.
So you're invested as Adam Scott. We have 8 episodes. If we had had 9 and 10,
Yeah.
what would you have liked to have seen? Where would you have liked to have seen Adam's story go?
Find a girl. He didn't find a girl and all of that. After all that, he didn't find a girl. Well, he kind of did. He danced with Sarah, but after all that, he didn't find a girl. So I think episode 9 should just be about Adam going on speed dates or something, or I don't know, but
Yeah.
something to do with that because I think we that was a huge part of Adam. He's the bachelor. He's the eligible bachelor. Everyone's talking about it, and then he never gets set up with anyone in the end. So I think, yeah, I think that's a no-brainer for episode 9. It's just Adam's love life. Yeah.
Maybe in season 2, Adam could write the Ingalls and at
Mm.
least tell them about
Yeah,
the
about
girl
the
he met,
friend.
right?
Yeah, I think that'd be great. I should pitch that. I think that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you could do the voiceover and get back
Yeah,
in, and there you
100%. That'd
go,
be great.
right?
Yeah.
If you could spend one day playing another character in a little house, who would
Ooh,
you choose and why?
that's a great question. Um, Russell Kind. I think he's an awesome character, and I like bad guys.
Yeah.
As tough as it is to say, I think bad guys are cool. Um, and I think that's maybe more of a unique answer. I think my original thought was, oh, Charles Ingalls, but I spent so much time with Charles. I think I'd love to see what Russell Kind's daily life is like. Um, yeah, yeah,
Here
that's
we here we got used to you playing the good guy, and now
yeah. Right, exactly. Yeah. Switch it up a little bit. I think, yeah, Russell Kind. And I think that, and I remember there was one day on set, I think it was when I first met Ryan. Um, and he had the coolest wardrobe, like just the coolest wardrobe. I remember looking at him, he had like a feather in his hat and all these guns and knives, and I was like, whoa, I want to wear that. So yeah, say Russell Kind.
so is there anything fans would be surprised to learn that happened behind the scenes?
Um, surprised.
There's animals involved too, so there's always got to be some sort of oopsie with.
Um, yeah, okay. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if he'd want me. Well, actually, I think he'd be okay with me talking about that. Um, Warren Christie, who plays Edwards, he
Fantastic job, by the way.
amazing, right?
Love.
Um, he fell off a lot of horses, quite a few horses. Um, I hope he's not mad at me for saying that publicly, but he fell off a lot of horses. Like more than once, which should be probably like the max for you know in a
Because he
production.
didn't know how to ride or because he had
No,
like a cantankerous
no,
horse?
he knows how to ride. He was great. He was an amazing rider. I wasn't there when it happened, but it happened multiple times. So maybe we checked on him. Everything's good. He showed up the next day to work and everything was fine. But yeah, like not once. And I might not even been twice. It might have been three times. He fell off multiple times.
And
Um,
you're not there, so you're hearing about this
I'm
from.
hearing about this. I'm hearing about this when he walks in the next day and tells everyone about it. Because
At
he's
least
got no
he was owning it, right?
owning. Oh, he's always owns it. Yeah. No, it was but those were funny conversations always. Um and he was like unique in the sense that he might have
Yeah.
been the only one falling off. Yeah. But yeah.
All right, on a serious note,
Yeah.
after people have finished watching season one, what do you hope that they take away from Adam's journey?
Um ye- it's never too late to start over, I think. Um, it's I mean, I know he's only, I'd like to think, early 20s, which isn't old at all. But I think, if you want a new experience, if you want to try something new in your life, whether that's move to a new city, whether that's get a new job, whether it's try a new hobby, um, I just go for it. I think, and you'll meet a lot of cool people along the way, and you'll have a lot of fun. I think, and that's kind of what Adam's journey is in this season. So yeah.
I agree. Adam's journey is like the perfect version of what you just said. So,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
for those that haven't seen Little House on the Prairie yet, which I don't know who that is, what's one detail or moment you hope viewers pay extra attention to when they watch?
Oh, hmm. I guess see, okay, this is a good one. In episode 8 we do a dance sequence.
Okay.
I was the one thing I noticed when I was watching that sequence, because I just recently actually watched the show, um was that took so long to do, and it was like such an intricate dance, and they kind of cut it in a way where like it didn't necessarily look as intricate as it was. So maybe like I don't know, pause at every moment and just kind of look and go, "Oh wow, that
Take it
was
all in.
yeah." Take it all in because I think we spent a long time learning that dance, and practicing that dance, and I don't think the edit did it justice. So yeah, maybe that's a
Love
good.
it.
Maybe pay a little closer attention to the dance.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go back and check it out.
yeah,
That's
go.
great. All
Yeah, yeah.
right. So, tell us a little bit, like your journey to Little House on the Prairie, because I know you star in another series that is quite a bit different than Little House on the Prairie.
Little bit, just a little bit. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that project.
Um, yeah, it's a comedy called Shoresy, and it's like not even just different, like I'd say polar opposite, probably.
I would
Um,
agree.
yeah, it's a comedy about hockey, taking place in Sudbury, Ontario, in Canada. Um, it's a very Canadian type of humor. It's a very Canadian show. But I think it's also you don't have to be Canadian to love it. It's a universal. It's got a lot of amazing stuff, kind of non-comedy things about it that a lot of people around the world really love, and I think are kind of universal aspects of the show. And it's pretty foul. So yeah, it's
Is it
like
fun for you to kind of do
oh,
projects that are so polar opposite?
that's what I love about this job. That's my favorite part of it. I think my biggest fear is getting typecast in kind of one thing. Yeah, I love it. Getting to switch and figure out like how can I bring something that I learned on this to something that I learned on this? And how do I, go into the next project with these things in the past and learn from everything and use everything? That's my favorite part of the job. Yeah.
So, what is next for you? You have anything in the works?
I there is something coming up pretty soon, but I can't talk about it. But it's exciting and it's a feature film. And yeah, that's about all I can say.
Okay, so if we're going to want to follow along so we know when it happens, how does everybody follow you?
Just Maclean Fish, my name on Instagram. Thankfully, that's the advantage of a unique name. It's available on Instagram when you make an account. So yeah, just Maclean Fish.
Well, it has been fantastic talking with you. I really enjoyed Adam in Little House on the Prairie season one, and I'll be definitely looking for what's to come. So, everybody that's watching or listening, if you liked this interview, be sure to like it, subscribe to the channel. There's more Little House on the Prairie interviews coming your way soon. Maclean, thanks so much for a great chat.
Thanks for having me. It was amazing.
All right, bye bye.